estate.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Mini Host here, and I am back for another 5 questions once again. And today I am here with the amazing, the wonderful, the Mustache Mountain, Trent 7.
Hi. How's things?
Hi, I'm good.
Yeah. I have an idea.
What's your idea?
I think we should slightly alter the show just for 1 week. One week only.
Okay.
I think I'm going to give you an extra 2 questions. So it's Trent's 7. You like that?
I
Right?
do.
Yeah.
I do like that.
You
I
that?
do
Right,
like
yeah.
that.
2 more pieces of information that you can get to know about me. Ask very... Let me...
Okay, number 1. How do you feel about the influx of British talent now being in the North American wrestling scene?
Okay. I suppose the best thing about that is just adding the different diversity of styles. That's my thing. Just been teaching here, obviously, at the Battle Arts Academy in Mississauga. We got there in the end. And just seeing how they're learning, what pace they're learning at, and being able to slow them down a little bit to the British style. That gives me a little bit of an insight into kind of like what the indies are working like at the moment. Do you know what I mean? The last time I was here was probably 2000 and I think it was Christmas 2019, just before like the pandemic and stuff. And I got to get in there with the likes of Josh Alexander and stuff, and he's a freak alien athlete, right? He's the absolute superstar of the indies and a superstar of wrestling. And I'm very happy that he's kind of pioneering that Canadian strong style as well. So it's great to see him doing a good job. And he's been over in the UK as well, very recently actually. I think only like a couple of weeks ago. So now I'm back over here and stuff, and so the talent is starting to be traded a little bit more. So that's it. For me, it's all about getting that kind of flowing in that ebb and flow of styles and matchups that you can't get anywhere else. So
Great answer.
no worries, thanks.
Number 2. How was your overall experience in Japan?
Oh, very nice. You have done your research. Back in 2012, in my junior years as a professional wrestler, 2012, how old was I? 31. 31? Yes, 31. We went over for Big Japan Wrestling. That was kind of like the first time I ever went over there. In fact, the only time I've been over there to wrestle. And it was just amazing. We went out there with CZW as well, and WXW were kind of doing this triangle of ultra-violence type thing. And it was amazing. A complete culture shock. Like 2012, I think it was 2012. You had we'd only had the iPhone for probably like 3 or 4 years at that point. So like Wi-Fi connections and stuff were really rubbish over there, and the language barrier was almost impossible. But nowadays I can go anywhere and I can just go bang, Google Translate.
Sometimes it's not accurate.
Right, and
though.
I know. Yeah. Some things do get slightly lost in translation. Where they've got like different words for different things. But normally 9 times out of 10 you can just go, where on earth is the nearest vegan restaurant? And boom, it will just say it. Do you know what I mean? So that's amazing. And have you seen that one as well now, where you can just put the picture over the menu? Have you seen that on Google Translate now? So now you can go anywhere in the world and be like, what? Boom. Oh, right, fish and chips. Or do you know what I mean? The technology is just crazy, man. Like the world's moving at a very fast pace. So
It is.
I imagine going back there and hopefully going back there very soon. It'll be nice to be able to see it from a slightly more modern and technological perspective, because the first time we went, man, we lived in this sweatiest corner of a gym ever, and we woke up at the crack of dawn every morning, and it was a culture shock. But they looked after us so well, and Big Japan was a great company back then, and the likes of Daisuke Sekimoto and people like that were looking after us, and we built relationships that will last a lifetime there. So I have a fond place in my heart for those boys and for Japan.
Yeah, Japan is my dream. I want to go there so bad.
In fact, actually, back home I used to have my own promotion, right, called Fight Club Pro, and we actually did a show where we just almost sold out Korakuen Hall, so a UK independent company, and we nearly sold out Korakuen Hall. Wow. And me, Pete, and Tyler were not allowed to do the show because the next week was I believe it would have been Takeover. take over Blackpool. So that was pretty gutting to have like got to the point of like selling 75-80% sell out of of Corrocky and Hall with an independent wrestling company from the UK, and then not being able to do on the show. That was a bit of a heartbreaker. But like I say, that's what I'm talking about. The next time I go back there, there's unfinished business, there's venues to sell out, and there's more Trent 7 to be seen by the Japanese wrestling fans.
Of course. Okay. Third question. So, I know you're world travel, which means you tried all different types of foods. What is the weirdest food you've ever ate?
Back to Japan, raw horse meat. Straight up.
Raw?
Horse meat, yeah. Uncooked horse meat. Now, let's hope that clip doesn't get edited by anyone who's who's super vegan. Because obviously now I am a plant-based professional athlete, have been for 7 years. So obviously, it's almost bizarre to say those words out loud. But obviously, 7 years of 41 is a smidgen. I ate everything, and I always wanted to try everything and try new cuisines when you go to other countries. I think it's part and parcel of it. You know what I mean? You're never gonna die, right? You're not gonna be sick. You're just gonna be like, that was gross, right? But you might find something that is most incredible. You ever ate octopus?
No, my dad
disgusting.
likes it.
It's the most disgusting. Ugh.
That's octopus?
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, like,
no,
but you can get baby octopuses with
the
their little
actual
heads.
Baby octopus with the heads? Oh, yeah. The tentacles? Yeah, man.
Ew.
Vinegar?
Hell
no.
yeah.
No.
Gross on every level. Gross pre-veganism and pre-plant-basedness. But yeah, man, we went to this. They took us out to this like restaurant where like you cook your own food. So they just bring over the meats and the stuff like that. And it was amazing. It was a brilliant experience. But when the raw horse meat came out, I was like, well, when in Rome. So I tried it, and it was just very strange. It wasn't particularly bad or good. It was just that's definitely the strangest thing I've ever eaten.
I bet.
Raw horse meat. Yeah.
Number 4. What is one of your favorite matches in NXT UK?
Wow. NXT UK, I would have to say me versus Tyler. If you wanted me to add another one, it'd be me versus A-Kid for the final of the Heritage Cup. That would probably be my top 2. And then there's a bunch of really, really good matches that I really, really liked. The one with Jordan Devlin for the Cruiserweight title. That was a really, really good match. Once again, that was a really great match seen by 2 paramedics and a ringside assistant. You know what I mean? Back in the days where obviously no one was allowed to watch you wrestle live. The good times. But now luckily we've got fans back, and we had a very small pocket of fans that were allowed in the venue to see the taping for the Tyler and me and Tyler match. So yeah, that one meant a lot. Unfortunately, that's it's probably the best match I've had there, and very bittersweet for the reason that that could have been, maybe still will be, the best series of professional wrestling matches that have ever come out of the United Kingdom. But time will only tell.
The 5th and not the final question, I forgot.
No, we've got a +2 today.
Oh. The 5th question is, who is one wrestler you can always fight forever with?
Tyler and Pete, without a shadow of it, without even thinking about it. You could wrestle them forever. Twice on a Sunday. Do you know what I mean? They're just aliens. Josh Alexander as well. I don't think I'd like to wrestle Josh Alexander every day. I think I'd just be dead. But I'd like to wrestle him if there was no such thing as pain. Then I'd wrestle Josh Alexander every day because he's a cyborg. He's just unbelievable. There's just so many. I've had the privilege of wrestling people like Finn Balor. Do you know what I mean? In NXT as well. He was an unbelievable professional, unbelievable performer. Kevin Owens. I'd love to wrestle Kevin Owens again. He was unbelievable. It's bizarre having that 20, 30 minutes that the crowd see, but the time that you spend with that person, after the show or trying to just sit around and learn from them. You know, the amount that you can learn in such a short space of time is amazing. But yeah, I was very lucky to have wrestled some real superstars. So yeah, I don't know, man. I would wrestle Pete and Tyler all day, every day, and you would never get a bad match. But there's a lot of wrestlers like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everyone knows at home there's 1,000 names that I can list, but we'll be here forever listing all the good wrestlers. We should do one about who are my least favourite wrestlers. I'm only joking.
The 6th question: do you have a pet? And if you do, what breed is it?
I do. I have 2 Staffordshire bull terriers. One is a girl. She's coming up to 13. She's called Molly. And one is a boy, and he's coming up to 12, and his name is Rex.
Oh.
And they are angels. They mean the world. They're amazing.
All right, now the 7th and final question.
Okay, bring it.
How has your experience been in AEW so far?
It's been wild. Let's say that. It's been wild. Because being part of such a regimented system for 6-7 years like I was at WWE, and then moving across to something that's just so fresh, and it's just so different, and it's just it's a different take on wrestling. It's, for me, I think it's a little bit more powerful. I think it's a bit not powerful. Sorry, I think it's a bit quicker. Do you know what I mean? I think it moves a lot faster. Do you know what I mean? And it's not that it's by anyone's fault, and in no way is that a negative or a problem or anything. But you know what I mean? Like being part of, it's like jumping onto a running train. That's like it's similar to kind of like when you go from like NXT to Raw or SmackDown. You got to kind of consider it like you are literally running and jumping onto a moving train, because Raw and SmackDown have hundreds of thousands of episodes and hundreds of thousands of hours of programming already, and AEW has Dynamite, Dynamite, Rampage. You have Dark Elevation. Now you got Ring of Honor, and you know what I mean. So like anyone who's trying to get into that that AEW world is jumping onto a train that's moving at 150 miles an hour. So you gotta that's what you felt. Come on, just let me wrestle. You know what I mean? And then and getting to work with Orange Cassidy as well, who I've known for years as well. He's just he's
my dad loves Orange.
Oh my God, I would wrestle him every day of the week.
You should have said him then.
Well, there you go. That's another one.
That would be a great match, because there would be no pain, at least in the beginning.
There would be no pain in the beginning,
Deepened,
I was going to say. But yeah, he's just amazing. He's such a professional. All of those guys, the best friends. They're just such a wonderful team of guys, and such great characters, and a real asset to me for me to AEW. Those guys are, and they all deserve to the absolute very best that AEW can give them, and the best that the wrestling industry and their careers can give them. But yeah, man, it's fast and it's moving quicker. We've got Ring of Honor. You got Ring of Honor just coming onto, I believe a TV deal is like in the pipeline. Got Ring ROH Club, Honor Club, and stuff like that that's kicking off now. It's getting its own separate kind of airtime, its own separate programming. So there's a lot of brands there. There's a lot of moving parts, and like I say, I'm just looking to get back on there and get another chance and show what I can do. And for me personally, I think AEW and the Ring of Honor brand, I think it needs a hefty little portion of British strong style injected into there. And
yeah, they do. They need it, and you deserve it.
Exactly. Oh, well, that's very nice of you to say. But and when you think about it logistically, and you think about it as as a genuine industry, it's like, well, the next market you're going to come into is mine, right? It's going to be Britain. It's going to be the UK. You know what I mean? And I take that. I represent UK, and I represent Britain, and I represent European wrestling with all my heart. Do you know what I mean? That's what I wrestle for. It's why it's written on every, on the towels and all my gear, is because, I'm proud of the style that we use as Europe and as British wrestlers. So, when wrestling companies come over there and wrestling companies want to expand there, I want to be part of that. I want to be set as the industry standard, or set as the measuring stick, and it's something that I take very seriously. So to be a part of that would mean the world to me. It would mean a lot. So you're going to do a show in the UK soon. I have to be on that show. I have to be.
You do.
I do.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash the button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to get notified each time I post a video. And I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to tune in next week for another great episode on all available podcast platforms and hosted on Podbean. Also, check us out on YouTube at Straight Talk Wrestling, on Instagram at Straight Talk Wrestling, on Facebook at Straight Talk Wrestling, and on Twitter at _Straight Talk. And if you feel the need to buy some sweet merch, check us out on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Leaving the scene with no trace, not in my league. You out of place. I'm not at the top, I'm outer space. Can't eat with us, we're out of place. I'm doing fine.